All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy to be with you this evening here in Chattanooga, Tennessee at Aesthetic Marketing Partners headquarters. I'm Sam Silvey. I'm the CEO of Aesthetic Marketing Partners. And we're going to be going over a webinar on the 2024. It says 2004. Man, we already started off with a typo. Man, first slide. It's going to get better, I promise. But 2024 SEO formula for aesthetic practices. I've also thrown in some other information about current economic times because I just find it fascinating. And we get a lot of questions about how the economy is going to affect aesthetic practices. So I threw some data in there as well that will hopefully be helpful for you also. Now before we get started, we're using a new platform tonight on Vimeo. Not sure how this is going to go yet. It had some features that we wanted to test over Zoom. So let us know if you like it or you don't like it. You should be able to leave messages here. I can see those messages, answer any questions you may have. And then of course, we'll be sharing this replay afterwards in case you missed the live webinar. So what we will cover today, 5 areas to focus on for the new SEO formula, 10 steps to optimize your website for on-site SEO, major updates with the Google algorithm. I'll give you kind of my insights for that. And then finally, what the heck is off-page SEO? It's an integral part, and most people are like, that makes no sense. So we want to shine some light on it. And there's quite a bit in off-page SEO that you can do yourself without having to pay an agency. So I think you'll find that very beneficial. So who am I and why should you listen to me? This is a great question. I have extensive hands-on experience across all facets of marketing and advertising since 2007. Really, it's 2003. I don't want to date myself, but it's been 21 years. I started computer programming school in 2003. I've been programming, building websites, shot video, TV commercials. I used to shoot on-road photography, like adventure photography for climbing, design, had to learn graphic design. Basically, you name it. I've done it with marketing, advertising, although, of course, my teammates and team members are way better than I am now, each one of those, and we hire specialists for all of them. But it's nice that I have an overview of each of the areas and how they work. The biggest thing is I've generated tens of millions in revenue for clients nationwide through effective marketing strategies. I have a proven track record of significantly boosting business growth for numerous practices similar to yours. Expertise in crafting and executing high-impact marketing campaigns tailored to diverse client needs. I'm a trusted advisor known for building strong client relationships and exceeding expectations. That's kind of corporate feeling, that whole section. I don't know if I like it or not, but I guess in the end, to sum it up, I know my shit about marketing advertising, and hopefully you'll find something beneficial in here to help you grow your practice, whether you work with us or not. Like I mentioned, I've helped hundreds of businesses grow across the country. In transparency, I own 2 agencies. I have one that's been around since 2012 called Spectrus. It's a generalist agency based out of Chattanooga. We've helped businesses all across the country, though. Won multiple Addy Awards. Some of our best clients were in the aesthetic industry, and that's what inspired me to start Aesthetic Marketing Partners. We learned over the years what services really work well for aesthetic practices to be contracted out to agencies like us, and what services are better to be done in-house. We took those experiences, created Aesthetic Marketing Partners for the lowest price possible to get the best return and make it that much easier to get a return on investment. This is what we do. We have built a set of services that are proven to grow plastic and cosmetic surgery practices, medical spas, and dermatology practices. Now, one thing I want to mention before we dive into the weeds, you'll see a lot out there, and most of these webinars are kind of in the weeds, what I call it. We really have a digital dominance method, which combines multiple areas. There are 7 main areas. So we got retargeting, online directories, pay-per-click, social media, marketing automation, repeat and referral business, and SEO and organic. Today we're going to be talking about SEO and how to boost that. But I don't want you to think that the only thing you need is SEO or the only thing we do is SEO. You need really all of it. And the ultimate goal is omnipresence. That should be the ultimate goal for any business, to see your brand everywhere and to have you be the first one they find, whether it's on Google or Facebook, Instagram, billboards on the road, TV, you name it. That's the ultimate goal. There's stepping stones to that, and we offer a multitude of packages depending on what your budget is to help you get to that omnipresence level. So this is a little added bonus feature I threw in there. I don't know if people like this or hate this. I don't want it to be a fear sell because it's not meant to be that way. And there's ways to navigate it to where it doesn't have to be fearful at all. But we get questions a lot as we do, weekly. We're doing discovery calls or marketing audit calls where we're pulling marketing audits for aesthetic practices that have said, hey, we're looking for help to grow our practice. What can you do for us? We do a free marketing audit, and we go over how basically you look online, so your website and your SEO. One of the questions we get a lot is about the economic environment. Since we talk to so many practices, how is it looking across the country? A lot of people are scared right now. So I want to spend just a little bit of time going over the economic environment currently for aesthetic practices across the United States. So, American Med Spa Association released a study 2023. One of the data points that came out of that was the number of med spas opening continues at pace with no sign of receding. This has led to decreased average revenues per med spa. They went on to say the continued rate of new med spas opening has created an environment where the average number of patient visits per month has gone back to pre-2021 levels. This is because there are more med spas to absorb the demand now. Also impacting revenue per med spa are economic indicators over the last couple of years. I'm sure we all felt that there's some economic challenges across the United States right now, and so how do you best handle and navigate that when it comes to your marketing advertising budget? A few more data points. I follow, I probably spend too much time looking at them, but follow a bunch of accounts online that have data points daily being submitted. I pulled kind of 4 quotes out from major news sources that should be reliable, but $100,000 income no longer buys the American dream in most places. It's from CNBC. About 42% of those with household income of more than $100,000 report being behind or delinquent on buy now, pay later payments. That one's kind of scary. Since 2019, U.S. rents have grown 30.4%, while wages have grown 20.2%. Rents have outpaced wages in 44 of the 50 largest metro areas. That one's also kind of scary. This one kind of shocks me the most. 43% of small businesses were unable to pay their rent in full in April due to economic headwinds. That's the highest rent delinquency rate since March 2021. That came from Bloomberg. Now, I don't want you to be completely terrified, because also from the International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgery, they have a report from 2023, and globally, procedures increased by 3.4%. This report has a lot of great data on like what's trending right now in plastic cosmetic surgery, as well as non-invasive med spa treatments. Overall, it's still growing. Luckily, since if there's something good that came out of COVID for this industry, is that everyone has to look like me right now, look at myself in the video, and I'm like, I need to get these wrinkles fixed. I need to get all this stuff done. Everyone's doing that every day if they have any sort of digital job. So that's really not going to allow this industry to drop too much. I thoroughly see it being recession-proof. Some of this data also goes in, like I mentioned, to breakdown of total surgical procedures per the U.S. And also non-surgical procedures. Of course, you see Botox is still leading for non-surgical. For surgical procedures, breast overall is still leading in volume. Face and head did make quite a bit of a charge to the front in 2023. Of course, these change each year, but it's good data to have. If you don't have a copy of this, I'm happy to share it with you. You can also find it online, International Society of Aesthetic Plastic Surgery. So I found some more data here I wanted to share, and the Great Depression proof is kind of my favorite story, but I'll get to that in a second. Future growth, according to a study by NTC Publications, marketers who increase their spending by an average of 48% during a recession can see double the share gains of those who increase more modestly. McGraw-Hill research also found that companies that maintained or increased their advertising spend during the 1981 recession had sales that were 256% higher than those that didn't by 1985. That data is kind of hard to argue with. And I know being a business owner now for a long time, 15 years, that it's scary to keep dumping money into marketing and advertising when you have these expenses and you're worried about the economy. However, we have data showing that if you pull marketing and advertising, ultimately you will wind up struggling more because of that. One of the best case studies I found, there's lots of them out there, like Yum Brands has a case study on this as well, but in the Great Depression, I'll summarize this instead of reading the whole paragraph. Post Cereal had way outnumbered Kellogg's. Post Cereal was crushing Kellogg's. Well, Post Cereal pulled their marketing advertising and Kellogg's doubled down. By the end of the Great Depression, almost 100 years ago, Kellogg's was leading and is still leading to this day. It's crushed Post. Post never made it back after them pulling their advertising for those 10 years. Great case study, great thing to be learned here is that you can't be too afraid to pull marketing advertising. It's going to hurt your business. Conclusion, every company must be responsible controlling their budget, obviously, especially during challenging economic times. Like I mentioned, data shows that pulling advertising or marketing will negatively impact your practice. What do we do about that? Our suggestion, of course, and this is the part where people might be, you're just trying to sell us. but it is what we do and it is what I know. We suggest a strong focus in marketing, specifically in search engine rankings for organic visibility, optimizing your lead management to follow up with your leads instantly. This is very important because we have another webinar on lead management. And typically the job goes to, or the patient goes to someone that replies in the first 5 to 7 minutes. Or at this point, it's even the first one to reply. Typically gets the patient. It's very important to have that lead management automated. Offering care credit or some type of financing can be very important right now in economic challenges. Create incentivized offers to utilize digital advertising, database reactivation. That means sending out emails to your database on a monthly basis, having loyal customers, be sure to continue that communication with your current patients and offer them loyalty programs to keep them from going to competitors. If you need help planning your marketing advertising budgets, we have a spreadsheet that can give you suggestions on how to break that down based on your revenue, technically based on a percentage of your revenue and where it should be allocated based on what we typically see. Reach out to me at sam@aestheticmarketingpartners.com and be happy to share that with you. All right, that's my little economic update. On to SEO and what we're here for. So does SEO still matter? So I'm sure you all are familiar, but here's a Google result from Chattanooga Cosmetic Surgery. You can see at the top, and it's, depending on where you're at, it's going to be typically a pay-per-click ad. In this case, there's no pay-per-click ads running for this keyword, so it's organic at the top, 3 map results, organic at the bottom. This is technically the first 5 listings on the homepage of Google. That is 67% of clicks on those first 5 listings. Now you've noticed that we've included Maps. Maps has this, in fact, we'll have another webinar coming up just for Google Maps, and it's very important now. Just in Google Maps is now 44% of clicks, so it has to be included in the first 5 listings. And in fact, SEO now incorporates Maps. So SEO used to just be all about websites, getting tons of link backs, building all kinds of keywords. Now it's about your Google business profile as well, reviews, signals that you're sharing across multiple platforms, how they all connect to build validity for your business. So a lot has changed. So we'll go over this more. So of course, yes, SEO still matters. You want to be in that top 5 listing. You want to be in that 67% of clicks, and it's organic. That's the best part. You're not paying for that click. So you don't have to rely on pay-per-click or advertising, Facebook, Instagram. Now, why SEO is so important. 68% of online experiences begin with a search engine. I don't know how the other 32% is doing that. I don't know what they're doing. I go to the search engine for everything personally. 53.3% of all website traffic comes from organic search. So it's definitely important to have that SEO ranking. And plus that's free. I mean, in some ways it's free. You typically have to invest with someone like us or someone that specializes in SEO to get that ranking, but you're not paying for the click like you do with Google Ads. SEO drives 1,000% more traffic than organic social media. This is surprising a lot of people. And of course, with aesthetic practices, we see that most of them have, they should have very strong social media presences. And I definitely support that. It's typically something done better in-house, having someone right there behind the scenes, getting the personality of that brand out in front of people. However, SEO drives more traffic than social media. So you really need to have all of it combined. 69.7% of search queries contain 4 words or more. And SEO leads have a higher close ratio. They've been doing the research. They found your site organically. The higher you are, the more trust they're going to have in you. You've clicked through your site. You have great content. Build that trust. It's going to be a higher conversion rate. So let's talk about the new SEO formula. So first, we want to figure out what the most important keywords are based on your service area, and search volume. We have some tools that we use. You can also use these tools and find them online. We do this as part of our free marketing audit, like I mentioned earlier, that we do for potential clients that are interested in growing their practice. We use a Google keyword tool that will actually tell us suggested keywords based on what's trending in your actual city, search volume, competition, cost per click for top of page bid, high and low range. So you get an idea of, this can even help you select services for your practice. There's always new machines, always new procedures coming out in aesthetic practices. So having some sort of keyword tool is great to have at the very least on a yearly basis, but even on a quarterly basis. Go through those keywords, make sure you're up to date on the ones that you really want to be selling for, and have those on your website. Set up a great website with unique pages targeting those keywords, like I just mentioned. Very important. You want to optimize your site for SEO, on-site optimization. We'll go through what this means later on. And you want to build your authority with off-site optimization. That's the part we started with. What the heck is off-site optimization or off-page SEO? We'll go over that. And then finally, you want to track your results. We include this last part because if you're not tracking results, you don't really know what's working or not. There has to be analytics in place. And ideally, the analytics need to go all the way into your CRM to a point of conversion. So you can see that they came from a social media post or a social media ad or a Google pay-per-click or organic search, what pages they landed on, if they did a live chat communication, whether they had a contact form, click to dial phone number, and then actually became a paying patient. You really need to track all of those steps so you can see what's working and where you can invest or should invest more of your revenue to get the greatest return. So tracking results is very important for this SEO formula. Now, real quick, just to give you an idea of suggestions for plastic surgery keywords, and we'll also have a slide right after this for med spa keywords. It's pretty basic. You can get more in depth in this, but ideally it's going to be city name plus these main keywords. So plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery, plastic surgeon, cosmetic surgeon. And you'll notice a lot of them are small variations. This is really getting in the mind of your potential patient and understanding what it is they're searching for. This is where that Google keyword tool can come in handy because you can actually see, all right, how many people are typing in plastic surgeon versus plastic surgery. Depending on your city and your area, you can figure out which ones being searched the most, and you can build pages with that in the page title, in the meta description, and in the page content as well. Of course, you can have all of these, you can have more, but putting a strategy together for combining these words is definitely important. And the reason the city name's there is because that's a great anchor point. It's a great signal for search engines to understand that, okay, Sam's located in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Someone's searching for something that Sam's selling in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We should return Sam pretty high, as opposed to Atlanta, Georgia, if it's 2 hours away, or Nashville, Tennessee is 2 hours away. Same thing happens for your practice as well. Having that city name can definitely help build your organic ranking and your map ranking. Real quick on the med spa side, same sort of idea, city name plus med spa services, dermatology clinics, skincare treatments. You get the point. Happy to share keyword list with you all. We can do a custom keyword list for you. Again, email me at Sam@Aesthetic Marketing Partners and be happy to get you set up with this. The city name also, one last thing to mention here, city name comes in important. If you're, say, 30 minutes outside, say a suburb of a larger city, but a lot of your patients are, 30 miles to the east or west, it can be challenging to get your practice to rank for that 30 miles away because you have to show so much trust and authority to Google, the search engines, that they're willing to rank your business and have visibility in, say, Google Maps or organic search results 30 miles away, assuming that that patient will drive 30 miles for your service, your procedure. So there's a lot of things that go into that, but you can add city names with these keywords and actually have pages on your site with different city names in there. So for, say I was in Cleveland, Tennessee, which is 30 miles away, but I wanted to advertise in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I could have pages dedicated on my site to Chattanooga, Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee, etc. And that can help build those signals and help Google understand where your practice needs to return. I know this gets a little confusing. I'm happy to clarify more afterwards, clear up any questions you might have. And again, feel free to ask any questions in the messages here, and I'll be sure to get to those as soon as I can, or definitely by the end of the webinar. So let's dive into 10 steps for on-site optimization. First, we want a strong website with good content and user experience. This is very important. This is going to increase the conversion rate. Increasing the conversion rate helps all the signals that Google is looking for. So if someone comes, say, through a pay-per-click ad or through organic, they spend a lot of time on your site, that's lowering the bounce rate. If you have a high bounce rate, Google's going to think this site doesn't have good content, it doesn't load fast enough, etc. If they're converting on your site with a click-to-dial phone number, a form, live chat, spending lots of time on your site, that is going to show you having more validity, more trust, more authority, and Google is going to trust you more, return your website higher. So a strong website with good content is very important. Like I mentioned with the time element and how long they're on the website, leveraging multimedia to improve on-page time can be a good trick, if you will, for getting someone to spend more time on a page. And by multimedia, I mean, of course, having videos on your site. Most of the practice we look at, they put together quality videos. Now there's so many people are savvy with their iPhone, produce high quality videos. It's very easy to produce a video that's worthy of putting on your website, especially if it's behind the scenes, gives some personality to the practice. Get someone to pause there, watch that video for a little while. That's going to increase that time on the page and not only help build your brand because of the content they're watching, but also build your SEO because of the time they're spending on the page. You definitely need pages for each service. And this is where in the previous slides where I went through keywords, city name plus services, you need each of your main services need to have their own page. That's absolutely dire. We see a lot of times that practices, again, come to our marketing audit. We look at their website and they'll have a services page, so .com/services, and then under that page, they just have all the services listed. Well, Google just sees services. It doesn't see all these individuals. It's better to have .com/services/medspa/Botox/fillers, whatever it may be. Having these broken down into individual pages that Google can crawl and give them page title and meta description and all the content on the page is going to help your website and all your services rank higher. Like I mentioned earlier as well, pages for the cities that you serve can help you rank higher. This really helps. Like we have a client that's a practice in Iowa, and they're about 30 miles out of Des Moines, Iowa, which is the largest city. Now, in the city they're in, Ames, Iowa, it's still about 30 to 60,000 people. So it's a smaller city, but of course they love to pull from that larger pool of people. And it's taken about a year for us to push their search rankings down because of that distance they have to drive, but it is possible. Having pages with the city name in there that you're wanting to push your search ranking out to can definitely help that search engine optimization. One tip about that as well is unique content to each city to pass heat map data to the city pages. Now, that's kind of a confusing sentence. I probably should have wrote that a different way. However, the unique content to each city, this could be a great way to, well, let me start this way. You don't want to just have a city page that say you have 5 different cities around you and you want to just duplicate every page and it's the same content. You'll actually get penalized for that. You want to have unique content for each city on that page, and ideally even link to certain destinations, other websites in each of those cities. And if you can get those destinations, say business, maybe it's hospitality, if someone's coming to get a procedure done and they want to stay overnight and there's a great Airbnb or a boutique hotel nearby, get them to link back to your site as well. That's going to build those links, and it's going to tell Google that, okay, they're working in this whole area. People are linking back to them. We can trust them to return them more in Google Maps. We want to have unique content on every page, not just on the city pages, but really every page of the site has to have unique content. We don't want to plagiarize content, and we don't want to plagiarize content among our own pages. We want those to be unique, including page titles and meta descriptions. You need those keywords in the page title and H1. I'll show you what that means on one of the upcoming slides of what that actually looks like. This is something that can be a little confusing. Meta description that sells the click. I'll have a screenshot coming up of what that means, but each page needs to have a meta description that the search engines use to read what that page is about, and you really need to write that to sell the click. I'll show you what I mean here. You need the name, address, phone number in the footer of every page. Very important. That also helps connect citations, helps build that authority of your name, address, phone number, matching all the citations in your website. Also increases conversion rate as well, having that click-to-dial phone number. You want to blog with ongoing updates and syndication. Syndication is very important here. So you can't just write a blog anymore and have a bunch of keywords in an article. You really need to syndicate that content, push it out, and ideally share it in like a press release to news sites with signals, meaning there's going to be signals linking, say from Google Maps, reviews, your website. They all link together. The more of that web of signals you can build, the more that your SEO is actually going to work. We'll also go through update later on. I won't give it away completely, but having an author to each of these articles is very important. And having the author on your page, we'll go through it here in a little while, is very important. You have to have that trust. It's something that Google is looking for now. And finally, we want to focus on page speed for desktop and mobile. I'll give you website URL you can go to here in a couple of slides. We also do this marketing audit presentation for potential clients. It's free of charge. It comes with the whole marketing audit, and we'll pull your page speed, show you what you're loading for desktop and mobile. Over 65% are now researching or shopping on their mobile phone, and mobile phone is a more challenging one to get your website to load quickly on, especially if you're using something like Wix, Squarespace, a default WordPress theme. Those sort of sites, they tend to be a little bit slower, and you kind of get limited on what you can do. Now, we typically build everything on custom WordPress sites, custom environments, custom hosting, just so we can get those really high-ranking desktop speeds and mobile speeds. If it's loading slow, your website will actually return lower on search engines. Again, it's a trust thing, and Google wants to see that whoever they're returning actually has a fast site. Someone can click on it on their mobile phone, even if, say, you're on a 3G connection somewhere in the Midwest and they're not great cell service, it will still load quickly. They're going to return that website faster. Or higher, return that website higher. All right, here's an example of the page title and meta description that I was referring to. So here's a search for aesthetic marketing partners. Here, where it says aesthetic marketing partners, aesthetic marketing agency, that's our page title. And then we have get reliable aesthetic marketing agency services at aesthetic marketing partners. We tailor strategies for your practice. Start growing your brand today. And you have a list of subpages under there. Each one of these were written out in our coding to tell the search engine what to return there. For us to come up with those words, we actually use Google Keyword Tool to understand what search volume was for each of them, and then made that page title or those page titles and the meta descriptions based on keyword search volume to help our company return higher. Same thing works for your practice as well. Now, the page speed test by Google that I mentioned, it's free to do on your own. We also can do it for you, but you can go to pagespeed.web.dev, and it's very quick and easy. You just type in your URL, and you can see here on mobile, we're loading at a 93 performance. That's great. We push for 90 and above on both mobile and desktop. That's definitely achievable. Now, if you do get a lot of multimedia, there has to be a lot of off-page loading there or delayed page loading for, say, video types. So that's one thing I would caution about my suggestion earlier when I say multimedia. If you're just using an embedded player that loads the entire content on page load, that will majorly decrease your page load speed in mobile. There's some different players out there that can speed this up, such as Wistia. That's what we typically use for our clients because you don't want to load that video every time until they click the play button. All right, what the heck is off-page SEO? Off-page SEO is a little confusing, but this really ties in how Google Maps has become part of SEO and how Google Business Profile has. So first off, you want to claim and optimize your Google My Business listing. The webinar, actually, I just gave the webinar. I went blank earlier. I was like, coming up's Google webinar. I did Google Business Profile webinar last month. So there's multiple names. Google My Business, Google Business Profile, Google Maps. It's all linked together now. Claiming and optimizing that is very important for off-page SEO because it's going to help build that trust and authority. And really, SEO now is no longer just about a website domain. It's about how your business is set up online. It's how they return your business in the map results. It's how your website ranks, how fast it loads the content. All of that's combined. So very important to have an optimized Google business listing. You want to get lots of citations across the web. This is also very important for all of our clients. We push them to over 100 citations in the first 90 days. You want the same name, address, phone number across all citations. I'll show you an example of a citation list in one of these upcoming slides so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. You want to build up online reviews leveraging best-in-class tools. There's tools like Bird Eye, Review Buzz. We have our own CRM that can also get these reviews for you to send them to Google. That's typically where we suggest because you want that Google Maps result. I wouldn't suggest going to Facebook and these others. Google's got the most value because you want to be in that Google Map result, and having consistent reviews every month is very powerful for returning high in that Google Maps result. Finally, you want to have strategic content syndication. So pushing content out, that content needs to have, what we do, just to give away, we've got a secret sauce in here is what we call it, which sounds super cheesy, I know. But the secret sauce is a certain PR engine that we use that sends out press releases to lots of news sites. And we have a way that we write these press releases and we build these signals. And one of the signals, we're connecting to their Google business profile, pulling images from it, articles from it, linking them to articles on the website, previous articles written, published elsewhere, tying all that together in a press release, sending it out. What it does over enough time is it starts building those signals, and it creates this web to help build that ranking off-page SEO for your business. So Google Maps ranking is very important for that. That strategy has really taken the place of a lot of link building. Links are still important, especially if you're going for a national approach, meaning you want to sell across the country. But the majority of the practices that we're talking with, and probably majority of people listening to this, it's a one location, maybe two locations, which is called local SEO. And this off-page SEO greatly affects local SEO. And this syndication strategy is what really builds out local SEO more than just building 10,000 backlinks, that most of them are probably spam and junk. Now, I want to show an example quickly of Google Business Profile Optimization. This is our Google Business Profile for aesthetic marketing partners. You all, I'm sure, have seen this, but you can type in your name in Google. If you're already logged into the account that manages your Google Business Profile, you'll have this screen pop up in the main search area. Now, you'll notice how we have suggestions. So add social profiles, add exterior photos, confirm your holiday hours. Take all these suggestions that they offer you and complete as many of them as you can. The more that you can do, the more that Google will trust you, and the higher that you're going to rank in Google organically. There's also consistently new features coming out, like Book Online. Book Online now works with our CRM that we use for aesthetic practices. I think Aesthetic Record has a Book Online feature as well. You can actually attach that to your Google Business Profile. And again, the more of these features that you're utilizing and the quicker you are to adopt them, the more trust Google is going to have with your business, and the higher you will return in that Google Map ranking, which, remember, is 44% of clicks on the homepage is just in the Google Map. So it's very important to get that click. Now, citations, like I mentioned, this can be kind of confusing to explain, but we have a citation report that's part of our marketing audit report. Here's a screenshot of our report here. And we track how citations are going. Right now, in this last one, you can see we have 122 live citations for us personally. There's 30 key citations. And those will continue to build because we're using data aggregators to push citations with correct name, address, phone number, business website, business hours, business categories, etc., across all kinds of sites. I get the question a lot, well, what is a citation? Give me an example, like LinkedIn.com. As you can see, here's a citation. Facebook.com, Bing.com, Google.com. Now, you'll notice one of the big things here that helps build the authority of your own site is having another site with higher authority than yours linking to yours. So you can see here in the middle column where it has authority, LinkedIn.com is a 99 out of 100. Now, most aesthetic practices that we do these audits for, the highest I've seen is probably 20, maybe a 25 for a practice that's been around a long time and has been doing this work for a long time. So typically they're going to be between 1 and 25. So all of these citations are higher authority. They're linking back to your business. It's going to help lift your authority. That alone is one of the greatest impacts it has, is that high authority affecting your authority rating. So like I mentioned earlier, a simple blog post on your website won't cut it anymore. What I mean by that is Google has released a new algorithm. It was EAT, E-A-T, and then they added, as of, I guess, December last year, Double EAT. You can't make that up, but it's called Double EAT. What it stands for is experience, expertise, authority, and trust. I actually had this slide in my Google Maps webinar last month, and I gave the same sort of warning. Like, this was not my designer's designs. Justin would kill me if he knew I was even using this. It's terrible graphics, but I found it online. It saved me some time. I stole it, I'll be honest. Put it in here. I liked how it had the 3 columns supporting trust, and it was great visual for it. So experience, expertise, and authority is what builds trust for Google search engines. Now, how this has affected blog posts is mainly due to AI. So these are some of the last year and a half has been the most major Google algorithm updates in probably Google's entire existence, mainly due to AI. I'm sure you all have probably heard about AI. It's probably getting blasted to you every day about how AI is changing everything, and it is changing pretty much everything. Part of AI is that content is blasting the internet now. It's easy to write tons of content. You can write a 2,000 word article in 15 seconds. The problem is, how does Google know which site that has lots of content is actually trustworthy? And so these algorithm updates are trying to understand how they can analyze using bots to crawl sites on a massive volume, analyze which ones are trustworthy enough to return them higher in search engines. It used to be you have tons of backlinks, didn't really matter what they were, tons of keywords and tons of articles every month. Your site's going to be at the top. Well, they figured out that agencies like us and other marketing people figured out the trick to get around it, and that it was just a bunch of spam a lot of times, right? It's selling fake clicks and that sort of thing. So they've gotten smarter, they've updated the algorithm. You have to have an author for all your blog posts now. And this is one that we don't see updated quite often. Very few people are really caught onto this yet. So it's one way you can get ahead of your competition. You need to have an author of each article, and ideally the author needs to be, one of the procedure providers in your practice, whether that's a surgeon, whether that's an injector, whether that's a CEO, owner, whoever it may be. They need to be the author of the article, and then when you click on that author, let's say article by, make that a hyperlink, have an author page on the site, then have their complete bio, LinkedIn article, accreditations they may have, awards they may have, publications that they may have written for. Those all need to link out, and then have a full written bio of how they have expertise and how they're experienced. This is going to satisfy that Google EE algorithm and help give more validity to your articles and make them more trustworthy. Also, if you're using ChatGPT to write articles, we use ChatGPT a lot. However, do not just use a default, write an article for this, and then copy paste it. That will get you in all kinds of trouble. There needs to be complex queries that you use for ChatGPT to get an article that is not going to be the same junk they have everywhere else. Then you need to have a human really critique this, edit it. Don't use stock ChatGPT articles. And a lot of that's coming from public domain, so it can be pulled as plagiarism if it's copied from somewhere else. So we run these through a lot of different engines as far as checking for plagiarism, checking for readability, satisfying SEO keyword checks, human readability. Google says in one of this algorithm updates that it wants to be legible by a fifth grader or readable by fifth grader. So we don't want to write these super high-end articles. We want to bring them down a little bit lower level. That's going to help satisfy Google's algorithm update. Now, the SEO checklist, and we're getting close to the end. If you're still with me, thanks for watching. There's a lot of talking. I'm worn out. I'm sure you're probably worn out too. And probably, I don't know if any of this made sense. I hope it made sense. I feel like it made sense to me, but I've been in the weeds for 21 years, so sometimes I don't know what's common sense or not. So let's go over the SEO checklist real quick. We talked about on-page. We want to make sure for on-page optimization, you have pages for each service, the main cities you want to service. You want to optimize those page titles, the H1s, meaning that's going to be the first content, the header on each page that loads. Your URL structure itself, images need to load fast and have tags in it. Unique content for all pages, like we mentioned, very important. And ideally, at least 500 words in each page. We shoot more for 750 to 1,500, depending on the content that we're talking about. You need to have at least 500 words on each page. Google My Business, very important part of SEO now. You want to claim and optimize your maps for Google My Business listing. You can add it to Yext or some other sort of citation platform like we went over the citations. That's very important to get that same name, address, phone number across all citations. You can add to major data aggregators as well. It's also very important to continue to grow your citation. Put a system in place for driving online reviews to that Google business profile. You want to have consistent reviews every month. And then add new citation on an ongoing basis is very important as well. Ongoing content, you definitely have to have new blog posts every month. And then you need to have some sort of signal engine. Our secret sauce that we use is a great example of that helps build those signals and ties them back to those articles. You don't want to leave the articles just sitting there. You really need to push those out, build signals around multiple sites on the internet, and tell Google, we're here in this city. We're looking for this sort of patient. You can trust us. That really has to be part of your blog post now for it to really work well. Finally, like I mentioned, leverage signals with expertise, authority, and trust, and experience. I can't leave out experience. If you can get multiple do follow links back to your website, that's great. Google My Business listing, internal pages on the site as well. Multiple map embeds. Google My Business has the map embed feature. It's one of the suggestions they make for all Google business listings now. You can embed that map on your page. Google can crawl that, see that their map is on your page, and they'll return your website higher because of that. And then, like I've already mentioned, fresh content on each page of the site. Have to have that. So that was a lot. I haven't seen any questions. I saw some hand claps come through from Laura. Thank you, Laura. I haven't seen any questions. I must have explained it perfectly. Makes me excited. If I haven't, and you'd like help on this, or you'd like to get that free marketing audit, you can text us at 423-375-4133 or email us at sam@aestheticmarketingpartners.com. Happy to get you set up with a marketing audit. We'll pull a full report on your website, how your brand visibility is, really in the entire digital marketplace. So from Facebook, Instagram, Google, and let you know what your opportunity is and maybe areas that you could focus on to see more growth. No commitment, no cost. It's free. If you're interested in that, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to help you grow your practice, whether it's just giving you a free report or actually working with you to help you grow your practice. Like I mentioned, I got ahead of myself. Here's the slide. Receive a free SEO review and visibility scan as part of that free report. Let's talk. Hey, there's me. All right, that's it. Thanks for attending. Transformations are our passion. Growing your practice is ours. It's a new one. It's growing on me. No pun intended. All right. I don't see any questions, but thanks everyone for attending. Hopefully this Vimeo thing worked out. We'll have this replay up hopefully tomorrow in case you just signed on and missed any of it. But hopefully it's a good experience. Give us some feedback. If it sucked, let me know what I need to do different, or let me know if the Vimeo thing sucked, and we'll make it better next time. But we'll see you all next month. Bye-bye.